Hey guys, welcome back. And if this is your first time coming to the channel, please hit the subscribe button and like this video. I think you're going to get a lot out of the channel going forward. Today, we are going to cover how to sublimate on metal and how to utilize some of that metal as promotional marketing materials for yourself, keeping it affordable and almost cheap to get this in front of people. So we're going to take a 8x10 today, sublimatable aluminum panel. We're going to go ahead and print out using A-sub paper our print, and we're using an Epson ET15000. This is one of those Epson printers that you can convert. It's an eco tank, and we're going to go ahead and create something like this, a finished product, which is actually going to be used for promotional purposes, that we're going to be able to go and visit local businesses. We package it all up very nicely, put some cards in there, some other marketing material, and this will help to drive additional business to your particular business. If you're interested on how to sublimate on metal and how to drive additional sales using promotional marketing materials on metal, so please stay tuned and come join us so I can show you how to do this. Let's go. All right, guys, we just got done printing out our sublimation print on the Epson ET15000, right? Again, that is a converted sublimation printer. So it's the eco tank. As long as you didn't put any ink in there prior to using it, you can put that sublimation ink in there and you'll get your print. Prints out a little bit slower than my Shore Color F570, which is a roller, larger printer. But for home-based printing, it works perfect, and it'll do up to 13 by 19. So now you have your sublimation metal, and of course you have the protective covering that goes on top of the metal. If you ever press this in your machine without taking off the plastic, essentially what you'll end up with is melted plastic on your metal, and generally you're going to have your print on there as well, and it's pretty much destroyed, right? So you're not going to be able to do that. Just make sure you're checking those on the metal that you purchase, and sometimes some of the manufacturers will put plastic on the back, so you might want to check that as well. This particular one, I know it's not on the back. The other thing I like to do is, if you watch the other episodes that I have out, is I like to use these alcohol swabs or tabs. I don't know what you want to call them, clean wipes. And after I take off the plastic, I like to just give it a wipe down, making sure that your fingerprints, anything that may have touched this while you were opening it or taking it off, is not stuck to the metal. So you have the best transformation from the metal to the ink. And then I'm just going to take this and put it face down right on our print. Again, when I print out my prints here, I always print approximately ½ inch larger as my bleed. I want a little bit extra playroom. You could do that to ¼ inch, you could do it smaller or not at all. But I like to have a little bit of playroom to ensure that I can center it, and I know that that bleed that goes past the metal will always ensure that your metal and your final print has a really beautiful print right to the edge. So I eye this up. I kind of have an idea. I've done a couple of these in the past. But I definitely am eyeing this up, making sure that it's aligned properly. I got good height, good side-to-side width. And then, again, if you guys have seen me in previous episodes, I absolutely love this tape dispenser. I have a neurological condition, and it prevents some of my abilities to do certain things. So having this type of tape dispenser, it makes it much easier for me to just pull off the tape, spin it around. I don't know if you guys can see this, has a much larger knob. Anything very small where I have to pinch my fingers makes it difficult. So the large knob actually helps me grab onto it. And then the pure ability of just being able to spin it, and of course that didn't work, and then lift it up is awesome. So obviously I'll leave a link to this in the description if you guys have interest. They're not expensive. I think they're like $10 or $15 on Amazon. I go ahead and secure this with 4 pieces of tape. Okay, now I know it's here and it's attached. And if you look around the edges, it's even, right? So I'm just eyeballing that up. All right. And now what we're going to do is we're going to take this over to the heat press. I do this at 385, 390 degrees for about 85 seconds. It's thin metal, doesn't take very long. If you have something thicker that you needed to add more heat, or you have a larger piece, you might want to go a little bit longer. Also, every heat press is a little bit different. So you have to kind of fine tune yours. If you determine that you need to go 400 degrees for 60 seconds, great. But once you have that setting, word of wisdom, write it down. I've actually made, and I'll pull one out when we go over there, I've actually made like certain cards that tell me what the settings are, so that this way when I make a product, if I'm not sure what was this, because I have 15 different products, I could pull out a product that has my heat and the time and so forth on it, and it's just an easy reminder to know exactly what to set it for. So let's go, we'll go over to the heat press and we'll get started. All right guys, we're over here at the heat press now. So just getting situated here. As I was saying before, right, every heat press is gonna be a little bit different, right? I purchased this heat press from Amazon, and it's a Vevor heat press 16 by 20. And what I did is, so for example, this is business cards, right? So metal business cards that could be printed. I took one of the extra metal business cards and I just printed on it, right? 355 degrees, 45 seconds, medium pressure. This right here lets me know that when I come in to start doing business cards, I know exactly what my setting is. So I keep it in a drawer. I have larger ones for some of my larger prints. But the thing is that when you're doing your cards, or you finally fine-tuned what your settings are, make sure you keep a copy, whether it's an Excel spreadsheet or whatever. I find that this works great for me because I see the product, I know exactly what it is, and then I can print it and not have any issues. So we have our print, right? Paper side is facing up, which is your ink facing down. Metal side is on the bottom. This is the way I press. I've seen people press it the opposite way. Don't really understand why. Heat comes from your top plenum here. I keep my butcher paper or craft paper in my drawer here, as well as I like to cover this also with an extra Teflon sheet. So once I have my print there, I'll go ahead and grab this down. Again, I'm at 390 seconds, 390 degrees for 85 seconds. So we'll go ahead and speed this up on the video so you don't have to sit here and watch me or watch this for 85 seconds. We'll be right back. All right, guys, we're back. Got 5 seconds left. Timer's gonna go off. Automatic timer, so no matter where you're at in your shop, you'll know that your press is done. I like to utilize my drawer here to put my Teflon sheet back in. It's hot. This is also hot, and I probably won't use this again, but I will save it just in case I have a smaller print. You could see, hopefully you could see on the camera, a little bit of transfer of ink that comes out onto here. So I'll put it in here for now. And then the concept should be utilize a pair of gloves, and unfortunately I don't have a pair with me right now. So this is gonna be hot, but I'm gonna go ahead, it looks like the tape came off. So let's go over to the desk, and I'll show you this now that it's done, and it's also very hot. All right, guys, so we had a little mistake, and I wanna show you what happened. So first of all, I went ahead and I did up a new print. And when we go back over the desk, I'm going to show you kind of the mistake that happened. It was on the ET 15,000, as well as I wasn't paying attention when I went ahead and put my paper down. I had the ink going right up on the Teflon paper here, or the Teflon skin, and I actually got ink all over my Teflon skin. So I've redone this. I'm going to go ahead and press it for the 85 seconds at 390 degrees. And then when we get back over to the desk, I'm going to show you exactly what happened, how to prevent these mistakes in the future. And also, it may have been just a little bit of me talking to you while trying to do something, and I missed a part of my process. So we're going to go ahead and let this go, and then we'll meet you over at the desk. All right, timer is off. So we can open this up. You know, ironically, when I was doing this previously with you guys, what I realized is when I went to open this up, it's always hot, but gloves don't work very well for me. I do recommend everybody wear gloves because this is extremely hot. This metal gets, it's 390 degrees. It's not going to be that hot, but it's going to be 300 degrees or so for the 85 seconds. The thing is that I always create a pouch, because this is what allows me to pick up my print without gloves, and then I could carry it over. Well, when I went to open this up last time, I'm like, wait, where's my pouch? So just in having the conversation with you, real world, problems as I'm actually working them, right? I'm talking to you and I wasn't paying attention to my process. So I didn't make my pouch, which means I couldn't pick it up. Even though the metal's hot, I'm not touching the metal, I'm touching the paper. So now let's go back over to the desk and I'll show you the other problem I found. All right, guys, back over here at the desk. Just easier for me to show you everything here. This has now cooled down. It's still a little warm, right? But when I did the pouch, or when I do my pouch, usually you could see the transfer of the ink to the craft paper or butcher paper, whatever it is that you're using. Well, unfortunately, and I've already thrown it away, so unfortunately, right, I didn't pay attention when I was talking to you guys, and that's my fault, right? So I went ahead to print, and this, or sublimate with the heat press, this was the only thing down. This is just a Teflon sheet, right? Helps to protect, but it also does absorb, the ink. So when I did my press, this was on the bottom, the ink transferred to this. The bad thing about this is that if you leave this on the heat press, and let's say you take another item that you want to press and you put it on top, that heat will now take the transfer from here and put it back onto a brand new, piece of sublimation that you're doing. So unfortunately, this is pretty much trash. If it wasn't in the center, sure, you could cut a section and try to keep it, but I have plenty of these. I wouldn't ever reverse this over, just not worth it, right? You're gonna go and print something and sublimate something that's gonna have value, and you're gonna mess it up with this. So take that, throw it away, be done with it. When it comes to your print now, you can see I had my pouch, easy for me to carry it over. All right, now we'll go ahead and I will show you the way this looks. All right, I just peel, obviously, the tape off the back. Okay, so this is your sublimated version, right? The paper, this is what, transfers. And then this is your finished version, okay? Looks very good, it's clean, it's high quality, it looks very nice to go into the next step, which is gonna be creating a little presentation package out of this. One of the things I wanted to show you though is that I utilize two different types of printers. I have a Epson ET15000. It is the converted sublimation printer, so it's the Eco Tank. I bought it brand new. You just put in your your sublimation ink into it, pretty much fire it up and it'll run. But every printer that you utilize, you install what they call an ICC profile. It's a very specific profile for that particular printer, along with the ink. Usually the ink manufacturers are the ones that create the profiles. In this case, I had my print settings in Affinity Designer set to my Epson Shore Color F570, but I printed it on the ET15000. So when I printed it, you get two totally different prints. And I don't know if you guys can see this, so I'm gonna hold it up, right? This one here, ET15000, it's got the incorrect ICC profile. So when I printed it, the colors are off. This one I reprinted on the SC F570 with the correct profile, and the color is much better. So when you're looking at these side by side, you should be able to see a difference, and it's strictly because I ran the wrong profile. This one will be trash. I wouldn't use it, but you can get this out of your 15,000 if that's what you're using, or any converted sublimation printer. You just have to make sure that your settings are set properly. You have an ICC profile installed, and obviously you've done a series of tests to kind of confirm exactly what you want to get out of your printer. So with that being said, this is a good one, and we're going to keep this, and we'll finalize that off. This will be bad, so I'm going to go ahead and trash this. But one last thing I do want to show you, right, is the difference of the ink that came out of, and this is a lot harder to probably tell visually, but these are sheets that come out of, let me hold this up. These are sheets that come out of the 570, the Shore Color SC 570. This is what came out of the ET 15000. So there's, when you're looking at them, and that's why I didn't catch this when I was doing it initially, they're not that different, right? This is a little bit lighter, lacks a little bit of the definition of color, but if you're just looking at this by itself, you know that your prints are always a little bit faded on your sublimation paper. So this didn't really throw off any bells or whistles and say, oh my God, something's wrong. But when you hold them up together, I absolutely know that this one is trash. I knew that when you look at them together, I could tell this one would never come out the right way. But it took me to printing out this one to realize that that's what I did. So just a little, advice, make sure if you're using multiple printers, obviously double check your settings. All right, we're gonna now go ahead and we're gonna take this and make it into our full marketing package. So let me show you essentially what we're gonna do. I do not like these 90-degree corners on here. They're very sharp, and they'll poke through things like plastic. And quite frankly, you're giving it to somebody to look at. It's sharp. You never know what business you're going into. Maybe they have a kid or something like that. You don't want somebody to get cut or poked with one of these edges. So I use a corner clipper. This is, got a couple things on here that I was working on before. So this is my corner clipper or radius cutter, and it's super simple, right? You take your, hopefully you guys can see this. I don't want to adjust the camera at the moment, but you take your corner, you jam it in here, right? I have it set up to 90 degree, and then you just pop it down. And what that does is rounds over that corner. It's quick, it's fast. Most people out there, you're not going to need 2 hands. I have a little bit of a issue trying to press down. So sometimes I can get it, or sometimes I just got to go hard and fast with it. So 30 seconds, all rounded corners, no more, pointy edge, not going to hurt you. All right. Again, I'll link this in the comments down below. I think it was on Amazon, probably for like $100 or so. But it works well, and it trims the corner for metal. If you do a lot of metal sublimation, I would advise getting one of these. It'll be helpful for you. All right, next thing that we're gonna do is I wanna put together it as a package, right? So you could go in and hand somebody a piece of metal like this, and here you go. This is your company, right? This is what you do, this is how you do it, and you can explain it to them. But ultimately, it always looks much nicer if you try to put together something more professional for them. And there's not much more cost that goes into this. As a matter of fact, the metal is probably the most expensive thing. So what do I put in here? What I'm gonna show you. We're gonna put a couple business cards in here. Standard business cards, wherever you get them printed out, print them. We do designs, and we also print cards and stock and so forth. So if you ever have a question or looking for something, please let me know, and or hit me up in the comments. And then these are postcards. So 4x6 or maybe 5x7, not sure. I guess I should check, right? And we're sitting here trying to do this. Okay, they're 5x7s. All right, so 5x7 postcards that have a little bit of information about the company, what we do, how we do it. It does have a QR code on it. Obviously, our metal sign has a QR code on it for people to scan. And then my business card also has information, and on the back, QR code for them to scan. I will tell you, each QR code goes to a different location. That helps me track to understand who actually scanned which product or what marketing material that I have out there. And this one is for a special for military, first responders, and heroes for the upcoming Memorial Day, as well as 4th of July. I'm running some specials on our Memorial Tribute site. So this goes to a very special place. They use a coupon code, and they get something free if they're a veteran, veteran or a military personnel or a first responder. So the only thing that's missing from this is we need to grab a sticker for the back. I like to have a little sticker back here. And then I purchased some of these 2-sided self-adhesive tabs to make it easier, right? If you're going into a certain location, how are they going to display this, right? I want the VFW, or I want the VA, or I want the, any kind of military museum I'm going to this weekend, right? I want them to take this, be able to display it on their wall. So you don't want to have to force someone to go and purchase, a picture frame or something else. Make it easy for them. So a couple double-sided tabs that are self-adhesive makes it super simple, okay? So we have that. Let me grab a sticker, and I'll put the whole thing together for you. All right, so we have just a plastic self-sealing envelope or sheet here, right? Again, Amazon, super cheap. Get 100 of them for probably a couple dollars. We have our metal, which I want to be able to put our sticker on. And I have a sticker. Now, I have an color 250 printer. It prints, it cuts the sticker, it'll do labels, it'll do all kinds of stuff. I will put the link down there. I don't expect or think that a lot of people may have this particular printer. However, if you have one, or you have the ability to make your own stickers, just a nice little way to add something to your marketing material. So I'm just eyeing this up. I'm not gonna, take out a ruler or anything like that. I just wanna eye this up, try to get it as straight as possible. Okay, it is on the back, throw it down. It's probably not as straight as what it could be, but that's what you get, okay? If I move it around quickly, nobody's gonna know that it's not 100% straight. So we got that. These self-adhesive tabs, just peel them off. I like to keep them about a 1/2 inch away from the corners. That just allows for a little bit of like offset from the wall, maybe a little bit of shadow. These aren't very thick. I mean, what's that? 1/2 millimeter. So, you know, it's not very thick at all. But when a customer, let's say, puts them on the wall, it'll definitely look like it's not flat on the wall. It'll actually have a little dimension to it. So I got my tabs on here. Okay, we got our sticker. So again, do you, if you're dropping this off at someone, do they have to put it on the wall? Will they even see the sticker? No, but it's there in case they decide, oh, we have a little stand that we're going to put it here, you know, put it in front of, right? Or they, you know, you may even want to drop them off a stand. Maybe you have a 3D printer, you want to 3D print them a little stand. There's all kinds of things you can do, but the fact is that before they hang it on the wall, it looks professional, right? It's an extension of who you are, and it's an extension of who your company is. So showing them that you're professional, showing them that you have thought about everything, I think leads to a much better presentation when you go and say, hey, you need to pay X amount of dollars for something. So at this point, I take it, I put it in the bag. You can, you know, clean off your fingerprints and so forth, but again, these are going to be things that are being touched, you know, the moment you go and give them to somebody. So you'll have your fingerprints on there. I put my postcards on there, and then I'll go ahead and stick my business cards in there. And at this point, I'm going to slide the whole thing into the bag. It never lands properly for you, right? But I try, bang it down a little bit. And then your self-adhesive tab here, just fold over. I pull it tight. And there we go, finished product. Okay, so I have made up probably a 6 of these so far, and it's a really nice product. Cost-wise, let me look that up, and I'll show you exactly what we got into this. So it's a really nice way to meet with your customers. All right, guys, back over here at the desk, getting everything wrapped up, right? Here is a display of what I have accomplished, right, in terms of my packages, 2, 4, 6. I got 7 of them sitting here, ready to go out to local businesses that I want to interact with and try to earn, you know, their business in the memorial market. That's kind of where I specialize at the moment, right? So what's included in this package? Obviously the 8x10 sublimation aluminum sheet. I have some postcards and business cards and sticker and my pads, right? So price-wise, I'll see if I could throw up a chart or I'll put it in the description. This sticker here, the iColor 250, actually will tell you how much a sticker will cost. It indicates 9 cents on this sticker. Not incredibly cheap, but not incredibly expensive, right? Doing something like this where I'm hand doing it and I'm only going to do even 100 of them tops, 9 cents. All right, sorry, my air compressor kicked off. I'm in the shop or garage, right? So getting back to this, right? 9 cents, even if you did 100, it's going to cost you $9 worth of stickers. What I like about this is that they're print on demand stickers. I don't have to spend, you know, you could get the price cheaper, but you have to buy what, a roll of 100 or 500 stickers to really lower the price. I could print these out on demand as I need them. 9 cents here. The metal, okay, 8x10. I just picked this up. This is a 20 pack of 8x10. Individual sheets run approximately $1.30. So you're talking $1.30 per piece, and that's if you're buying 20 at a time. You may, if you're going to do a lot, you can lower that price by buying, let's say, 100 at a time or something like that. I did purchase some smaller ones. These are 6x8. These come in around 85 cents a piece. This was a 30 pack, so there's a lot more here. And the reason I wanted to show this to you is because you don't necessarily have to use an 8x10 to do your promotion, right? You could do something smaller, keep your cost down a little bit more. So look at different sizes. They have, this is a 6x8, of course they have 5x7s, 4x6s, so whatever size you think fits your business would be a good one to get. And again, the smaller the size, the cheaper it'll be. Standard postcard, 5x7, you're talking a penny or two for a postcard. I order these like 1,000 or 2,000 at a time. So you're generally not really having much more than a couple pennies in here. And then your standard business card, right? Everybody's gonna have a business card. So I do metal business cards, which I can show you, but I'm gonna do a whole nother episode on metal cards and all the different things you could do with them that people don't generally think of. They only think of business card, but here I'm gonna show you some unique things. But again, a penny, 2 pennies for a business card. So all in total, 9 cents. Let's call it another 5 cents for this, right? You got 14 cents. And for the large metal, $1.30. So let's say all in, you're at $1.50, you know, with the tabs. I got a whole bunch of tabs for a couple bucks. So you get a nice professional marketing piece, something that most of your customers would never have seen. Nobody's delivering this type of stuff. So if you're a local business and you're gonna go knock on a door, you're gonna go talk to people face to face, to me, this is gonna separate you from the next person, because the next person's gonna come in and say, hey, I want your business, here's my business card, right? And this is what you get. But with you creating something a little bit more substantial, sure, there's a little bit more investment, but select your customers the right way. You're not just handing out 1,000 of these to random people. You're going, like for me, for this memorial tribute, I'm going to very specific memorial facilities, right? Whether they're veterans associations, funeral homes, crematories, they're the only ones I'm going to. So to me, it's worth the $1.50 to go and see them face to face, give them something nice that they're not just gonna throw away. You kind of have like some perceived value here because of the fact that it's not just paper that they can toss. So that's where we're at. Hope you guys got something out of this episode. If you have any questions, comments, please put them down below. Once again, just started the channel. This is my number 3 episode. I hope you are getting something out of this. Please subscribe and like if you're new. If you made it this far, awesome. If you have any ideas for upcoming episodes, let me know. Be sure to try to add them to future episodes. Once again, thank you for your time. Next Friday, we'll be dropping the next episode. We're going to get into some other things as well. And action.
Please like and subscribe to my dad.